Ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled to introduce the PlayStation 4.
For the first time, let me now unveil Xbox.
Our next generation portable is officially named PlayStation Vita.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Xbox One.
Well, the wait is over. This is Nintendo DS.
So today, welcome to the world of Wii U.
Welcome to another edition of the 411, folks. Jake is with me.
Hey, Scott.
Jake, this is episode 6. Jake, I've been playing a few games this week. Surprisingly, it's not the 3DS. I've been playing a bit of Xbox.
No.
Yeah, and like I think I said last week, I downloaded Life is Strange, so I've been playing that, and I said also that I was going to get Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which I also got because that was almost half price on the Xbox store, so I picked that up.
I love how you're keeping these things from me until we go live on the podcast.
Well, it gives us something to talk about. It's a genuine reaction from you.
Is Life is Strange, is that still cheap? Or is it finished now?
I don't know.
I have to play it on your Xbox then.
You should have got it when it was cheap. It was like $13.
Yeah, it slipped my mind. But is it good?
Really good.
Which one? Life is Strange?
Life is Strange. This is sort of the first episodic game I've played, and it's also the first indie game. Is it an indie game? Or just a little game?
Yeah, I guess
You know, not a full-priced game I've played. First time. And it's just...
That's sad, really. That's a bit weird.
It is sad, because I've always sort of avoided them just because I like I like to sort of get into bigger games.
That's not to say indie games can't be big.
Well, this one is turning out to be pretty big. I don't know how many hours I've sunk into it, but I've played for 3 afternoons straight, probably maybe 1 to 2 hour sessions, and I've just finished the first episode.
Okay. Out of 5, isn't it?
5 episodes, yeah.
That's alright.
Yeah, it's really good so far. I don't really want to give too much away if people haven't played it, but yeah, it's different. It's unlike anything I've ever played, and it's all about player choice, which is something I really like. So it's when you are talking to someone, it gives you dialogue options, and there's dialogue options that really affect what happens in the game.
Don't you think though, because the kicker of Life is Strange is that you can choose one option, rewind the time, and choose another option. Don't you think that, I don't know if what you've done so far, but don't you think that you should, once you choose one decision, you should be stuck with those consequences, not be able to see how they both play out?
Yeah, it's kind of like I forgot what game I was comparing it to, but in other games when your decisions sort of have effect on the rest of the game, you do something and you can't change it, and sometimes you wish, I wish I could have done it the other way. Maybe if I play the game again, I'll do it the other way. In this game, you don't have to play the game again, because you literally can just rerun the time, see the other option, and then rerun the time again, and then do the other option that you originally chose if you don't like that. Mm-hmm. You keep rewinding. It doesn't matter how many times you do it. And I started doing that, and then I got a little over it because, I don't know, I wanted to stay with my first choice.
Yeah.
No matter what option you choose within a dialogue situation, at the end, something's always going to happen, and then your character will say, I should have done this the other way. So it sort of makes you want to change it, but if you do change it the other way,
something else is going to happen.
She'll say the same thing, I should have done it the other way.
Yeah, no matter what, there's going to be consequences based on your decision. But I've played a few Telltale games, which are episodic and story choice based driven, I suppose. Yeah. And what I find most interesting, I only play through them once, and that's it. I'll never ever play them again, because that was my story. Those were my choices. That's how I saw the story. Even though the story can branch off in 100 different other ways, I only saw one of those different storylines. But that was me. That was my path. You know.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it any other way. Which you know, some people have said, but that takes it away from you because you haven't experienced the whole thing. But I don't care. I've experienced it the way I chose to. So I don't know. That's how I saw my characters play out. I don't want to see them contradict themselves in any other way. And sometimes you get pretty attached to some of these characters, especially in Telltale games, and you don't want to see it played out. And me personally, I don't want to see it played out in any other different way. Maybe you have that same way in Dragon Age or something.
Yeah. Playing Life is Strange, it's opened up a new door of sort of games to me that I haven't really explored yet, and this is sort of making me want to sort of go play other things. I've been looking up other games that I haven't looked up before. Usually when I look at a list of games, like top games to play, I usually skim over these kind of things, but now I'm actually looking at them. So I think I might, delve into the Telltale.
Definitely 100% recommend Tales from the Borderlands. You love the Borderlands universe?
I wouldn't say I love it. I love Borderlands 1. I'd barely touch Borderlands 2.
Okay, that doesn't matter. You've enjoyed the games somewhat, and it doesn't matter. It's just got an awesome set of characters and a really great story set in that Borderlands universe. So I can't recommend enough. Just you have to play that one.
I mean, I've just finished watching Walking Dead. I'm watching Game of Thrones at the moment, so I was thinking of getting into some of those.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I've played Walking Dead seasons 1 and 2.
Oh, you played both?
Yeah. Season 2 is definitely better on my what I think.
It's a completely different story with different characters, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think there is a bit of crossover. Maybe some characters make a few appearances, but in general, it's a new set of characters. But it's, still set in the Walking Dead story and world. It's kind of like they tell different stories all around the world, what's happening kind of thing. All around America or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, I'm not big on the Walking Dead universe, but I'm sure it's like a worldwide event.
Yeah, well, I mean, they don't really even mention it in the series.
No.
The entire series is based in this one town, and they don't really talk about what's going on elsewhere.
No, but
at all.
It's cool that you can get to enjoy what else is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Around. And the new Walking Dead series.
Fear the Walking Dead, yeah.
Oh no, I meant the game. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Walking Dead Michonne.
Oh yeah.
She's actually a real Walking Dead character.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about this. So when I researched about the game, I realized how much of a cool character she is. Because I'm not sure if you've come across her in the show, but she walks along with. She brings like 2 walkers along with her all the time.
Yeah.
Or
cool. She started to. I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. I think it's a really cool character.
Yeah, she is cool. But yeah, like I was saying about Fear the Walking Dead, that new show, it's set in California, I'm pretty sure. So it's complete. I think it's pretty much the same. I haven't seen it, but I think it's pretty much the same thing, just in a different setting, which would be cool.
Okay.
So,
well, where's the original Walking Dead set?
it's in.
Oh, come on.
I know they say it like every episode as well. I don't know, it's in one of those smaller towns, Georgia, I think.
Oh, well, okay.
It's like one of those farm towns. I don't know.
Yeah, right. No, that makes sense because the first Walking Dead Telltale game is in a farming-ish kind of town.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, cool. Definitely have to. They're probably really cheap by now.
Yeah, I think so.
At least $15, maybe $10 by now. So definitely check them out.
Well, I'm really into Game of Thrones at the moment, so I might pick that one up first.
From what I've heard, I'm sure you've maybe read the same things. It's definitely probably the weakest Telltale series.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's just from what I heard.
Yeah.
Maybe because the show just sets expectations so high,
exactly, yeah.
and then they just can't translate that well to game.
Yeah.
Actually, have you ever come across the 360 Game of Thrones?
No.
It's like a Dragon Age style kind of game, but
Really?
it's the most rushed piece of trash, like the smallest budget ever kind of game. You just have.
Why
to
would you even bother if you're not going to go into it knowing that it's going to be something good?
From what I've heard about it, this game was originally planned and expected to release before the show was even in development.
Yeah.
So they kind of took their time with the game, but the show got pushed out pretty quick. And then, of course, the show was a mammoth hit, and the game was just not up to standards. But if you just check it out on YouTube, it has the worst. It's probably the worst video game I've ever seen. Just terrible. But,
well, I'm so into it right now. I'm halfway through season 4, and I've downloaded the first book on my iPad.
Okay.
I'm going to start, I think, reading the books. I don't think I could have read the books without watching the show first, because I think it'd be a bit too involved.
Are you that kind of person though, who do you prefer watching the movies than the books?
I prefer reading the book first.
Yeah.
But with something like this, I'd like to sort of picture the actor's face in my head when I read the names, because there's so many characters.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I just get too confused.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to read the book, because I mean I've read sort of the first sort of chapter. It follows pretty much the same as the TV series, but there's just extra things in there.
Yeah.
And a few sort of differences, which is just really interesting to read.
Isn't the TV series past the books now?
Yeah, well, I think the new seasons that they're making now, they don't have the books to go from.
Yeah. So who's writing it? Is George?
No, I think there are writers for it, but I think the author is it George
Martin.
Martin, yeah. He's, I'm pretty sure, telling them sort of what to do. I'm pretty sure he's planned out the rest of his story anyway. He just hasn't written it.
Because he's so damn... He takes so...
Well, he's got, I think, 2 more books left. And the 6th book is nearly done. I think it's due either this year or next year. And then he's got 1 more after that.
If you've ever seen the South Park episodes of South Park parodying Game of Thrones, while they do Game of Thrones but turn it into console wars. When it was around the time Xbox One and PS4 were launching, and they parody Game of Thrones and Xbox One, PS4. I don't know. It's really good, but the running joke is that George R. Martin just takes forever to get to the point.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It's pretty funny. But aren't they in the new seasons? I'm not sure if you saw the trailer.
I haven't, so don't spoil anything.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm only up to like season 3 or something.
Yeah.
So
you need to start again.
no,
It's so...
I'd find season 1 so boring now. Then.
Well, no, season 1. I don't know. You do like the second time I watched it, you do pick up on a lot more things. Things that I didn't really understand the first time watching it. So it is interesting in that way. If I watched it a third time, I'd probably find it a bit boring, just because I have picked up on all those things now.
I mean, it's the first season to me that the Khaleesi storyline was the weakest, I think, and then it turned out to be probably the best.
It's good now.
Okay. Yeah, because what's it like, Khal Drogo or whatever his name is? Yeah, boring. I thought.
Yeah, he's not that great.
No. But okay, well, let's talk about games actually, because we're about 12 minutes in.
Well, let me tell you a bit about Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Okay. You had high hopes for this.
I did, but
oh no, here we go.
I'm up to sequence 3.
Yeah.
So far, I haven't explored London yet. The first 2 sequences are pretty much tutorials showing you how to use the mechanics. I don't know, I haven't played the game Assassin's Creed since Black Flag, and I've played all the ones before that. If you're a person who's never played Assassin's Creed before, ever, and this is your first Assassin's Creed game, I think you'd be a little overwhelmed.
Oh, is it just assumed knowledge by now, is it?
Some of the stuff, it does sort of teach you how to do all the stuff, but sometimes, like, the controls, like, I don't know if you've noticed, the controls are very, hold your trigger to run and hold the trigger to climb and press then A to climb and everything. If you're not used to it, then it's going to take you, it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And even though I haven't played Assassin's Creed for about a year now, it was still a bit of a learning curve for me at the start.
Do you think that's funny, because I wonder if newcomers did come into this and feel overwhelmed, because maybe with this break they're having now as a quote unquote reboot, maybe they are kind of trying to strip it back for newcomers, because the series was such a hard point to enter for newbies. Maybe there weren't any newbies anymore. Maybe just everyone who wanted to play it had played it by that point.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they introduced in Unity the thing how you can climb down easily.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that I never played. So this is the second game with that mechanic. So I'm just getting used to that. That's why it's a bit different for me as well, because I'm used to just sort of pressing A to get down, but now you press B to get down. And I'm used to sort of, you're holding down the run button, running into walls, and it just automatically climbs. It doesn't do that anymore. You have to press A to climb.
Oh, that's annoying.
So yeah, it's just taken a bit to get used to, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, and I found at the start, because I'm so used to Black Flag, I sunk so many hours into that. And the one before that was number 3, Assassin's Creed 3. Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Both those games, their setting is very open world kind of thing. Syndicate has gone very close quarters. You're in a lot of rooms a lot. I mean, within the first 2 sequences you are. And I'm not used to playing with an assassin with these mechanics inside close quarters. So it's very finicky and you sort of get... I don't know, it's the controls to me so far are a bit touchy and a bit weird.
Okay.
I think it's just a learning curve I've got to get used to. I think I've sunk only about 2 hours so far. So
Good graphics though?
I'm not that impressed.
Oh, wow. It always looked great when I saw it.
Yeah, the cutscenes are amazing.
Yeah.
They look like almost real life.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was more impressed with Black Flag. I think maybe that's just because of the setting as well. You get to see a lot of the ocean and tropical islands.
Do you prefer that setting, do you?
Well, of course I prefer the setting. To me, London, this 1800s London is very boring and dull. A lot of people like that though, but to me it's not that interesting. But yeah, the graphics, I think they haven't really upped them since the last time I played them.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I mean, I can't really comment too much because I haven't actually explored London yet. I'm up to that bit now where I can explore London, but I've stopped. So
The coolest thing that looks to me is that the way, like, your base or whatever, your home of operations, is that moving train around the city.
yeah,
That looks pretty cool to me.
yeah, it's weird because usually when there's a city, it's very sort of close quarters, so you can jump from one building to the next. But in this city, the roads are really wide, so that's sort of a big change in this game. So yeah, it'll be interesting once I start. I haven't used that grappling hook yet. It'll be interesting once I start using that and see how that goes.
So, a bit off topic, but how do you think, since Ubisoft don't have a Assassin's Creed game to talk about at E3, what's going to fill that gap?
Are they at E3 this year? A lot of people dropped out, didn't they?
Oh,
I know EA's dropped out.
they're still doing a press conference though.
They've got
They got that Tom Clancy Ghost Recon game.
Ubisoft have got a lot of games. I mean, they might even announce Far Cry 5.
Ugh, already?
Well, I think Far Cry Primal was just sort of a spin-off kind of thing, just or just a side thing to them. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, because it's not a numbered
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that's a conversation
they
for another day.
could even have Watch Dogs 2. Well, that's what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, when a lot of people saying that Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed would alternate between the years now.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to me.
Or if Watch Dogs actually is good this time.
Well, I don't know. I can't comment on that because I've never played it. I've
Neither.
always thought it looked pretty
It
good.
looked good, but a lot of people compare it to Assassin's Creed, the first Assassin's Creed, how that was very bare bones.
Yeah, okay.
And so is this. So I think a lot of people are expecting a huge jump like Assassin's Creed to Assassin's Creed 2.
Well, Watch Dogs' game we'll probably talk about later in the show, but I'm excited for things to come in that series because no matter what I saw of that game, that was a game. A lot of Ubisoft games you kind of see first up, you just jaw dropping.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the problem because they talk about them too early. But we'll talk about that later in the show.
We will. Last thing I just want to talk about before we get into really the show is did you see Lords of the Fallen is free?
Oh, is it? We were
Yeah.
talking about this last week, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to get that then.
Yeah. Well, it's free, so I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet. I don't think I'll play it anytime soon, but just because it's
So that
free.
means never then for you, is
I'll play it. I don't think it'll be a game where I really get into it and try and finish.
Yeah.
I'll probably play a couple of hours to see how it is. If it is good, I'll stay with it, but I doubt I really will get into it.
Yeah. From what I've heard of it, it's just Dark Souls kind of combat, but not up to the Dark Souls polish, you know?
Is it as hard?
Maybe. I'm guessing. If it's got that kind of similar mechanics and combat, then I'm guessing they're going to try and make it as difficult.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's free. Give it a shot.
Free, yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into news.
Cool. Do you want to
I'll start. Did you hear that Dead Island 2, you know how that was not being made anymore?
Yeah.
It is being made now.
Okay.
So, let me just give you a bit of a backstory here. Techland, the company who made Dead Island 1 and Dead Island Riptide. They started making Dead Island 2, but then they decided to can it and make Dying Light. Dead Island 2 then went to a company called Jaeger, who are best known for Spec Ops The Line, and they worked with Deep Silver to make Dead Island 2, to continue it, and their quote was that they had their respective visions fell out of alignment. So they canned Dead Island 2.
Yep.
Now a third company has picked up Dead Island 2, which is Sumo Digital, and they're best known for Little Big Planet 3.
Okay.
So Dead Island 2 is a little bit of a slut, going from company to company. I'm hoping that they don't sort of start from scratch. I hope that sort of they keep what they've got, because I'm sure Techland, whatever they started with, was going to be pretty decent.
Oh yeah, they would have to keep some resources and...
Because originally this game was going to be set in California.
Oh, has it
and
changed?
I like that idea, but I don't know if it's going to change, or how much of that's going to change. Because who knows? I don't think we've seen anything from that original trailer from Techland.
There's been no gameplay.
No.
Yeah, remember another game that's been... There've been others, but the one that comes to mind that's been passed through developers for over many years was Duke Nukem Forever. Look how that turned out. That was a bit of a mess of a game.
Yeah.
Because it just kept being... it had too many hands on it.
Yeah.
And this is already up to their third developer. Third and maybe last.
I just don't understand why Techland why they had to sort of can Dead Island 2 and make Dying Light. It's pretty much the same game, except Dying Light had its parkour, and they had this whole thing about when nighttime comes, the dead get more. They're like, why don't you just do that for Dead Island 2 and just give it the name Dead Island 2?
Maybe did Dead Island, like, did that go well? Did it sell pretty well? Because I know Dying Light did pretty well too.
I mean, Dead Island was already an established name.
Yeah.
I mean, if they came out with the name Dead Island 2, I'm sure it would have sold more. I mean, I would have had it by now.
Yeah.
If it had the name Dead Island 2.
So do you think passing through all these developers, does that hinder you wanting to play it anymore?
Yes.
Why?
Because I enjoyed Dead Island.
I mean, you'll get the game eventually.
Yeah. I mean, but you know how we said that the Dead Island collection was coming out with Dead Island Riptide? I've been so tempted lately to get Dying Light, and now I hear Dead Island 2 is being made. So now I've got these three things: Dead Island Definitive Collection, Dead Island 2, and Dying Light. I don't know which one to wait for and which one to get, because I really don't have a lot of money to spend on zombie games. I don't have a lot of time to sink into zombie games. I only really want to get one. So I'm sort of torn. I don't really know which one to get.
Well, I'd get Dying Light personally. I've been eyeing off that game for a long time.
You wouldn't want to wait for Dead Island, the original, so we can play that?
I don't know.
I'm just tempted to get that just because I know the game and I know it's good. And
yeah, but it's a game you've already played. Want to try something new? Remember, Dying Light, we were pretty hyped for Dying Light before it came out. And then once it kind of hit that, this is a multiplayer kind of focused game, kind of sunk under the radar for me. And Dying Light just had its expansion, I suppose you can call it.
Yeah.
The following, or whatever you call it.
Which introduces cars.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how it just turns out.
Yeah. The next bit of news I had was Rugby Challenge 3 has now got a release date. This was a game that was slated for release back in September last year, but it kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And this is a game that I'm pretty eager for. I know you don't play any of these sort of rugby games or anything, but
you might be the only person to report this piece of news.
Hey, this is something that I'm interested in, so I'm reporting it.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people are interested in it as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and basically, I'm pretty excited for this game because one of my favourite rugby games of all time was Rugby League Live 2. And I was really hyped for Rugby League Live 3, but I was left a little disappointed. And I don't really play it that much. So I'm waiting for a good rugby game that I can play on my Xbox One. And hopefully Rugby Challenge 3 scratches that itch.
Is this the same developer as Rugby League?
Same publisher, but different developer. So True Blue is the publisher who publishes all these rugby Australian sports games, even Dodd Bradman. But the developer is Wicked Witch, who made AFL Live and AFL Live 2.
Love AFL Live.
Which isn't that great, but hey, Rugby Challenge 3 looks promising.
Okay. No comment.
And something that you might find interesting, this game you can change the commentary that you have the option to change it to use French commentators.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, because there's, you play as the French teams.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool. I wrote that down because I thought you'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do it for a laugh.
For a laugh.
Yeah.
It'll make you buy the game.
Yeah.
Anything you want to share?
Oh, news?
Yeah, news.
Well, something I came across this week was finally Xbox One and PS4 will be able to play together. Now, this kind of got me pretty excited, but threw me off a little bit because it can only happen in Rocket League. And we're talking about cross-play with online. Typically, you pick a system, you pick a console, and you play with that infrastructure, the online infrastructure. They're totally different, Xbox Live and PlayStation Network or whatever it's called. Totally different things. But through the power of Rocket League, which is a global phenomenon, never played it myself, always wanted to. I have the chance now that it's on Xbox. You will be able to play with anyone who owns Rocket League now, because you can play with PC and PS4 no matter what console you own it on, which I think is really cool because Rocket League is a big competitive game as well.
It doesn't necessarily change the way you play it. I think the only people it will affect is those people who have friends with different consoles.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, with Rocket League, I think it'll just prolong the longevity of the game, because you know how with online games, as the years go on, less and less people will start to play it. But because all the consoles are joined, you'll have less and less people on those consoles, but it'll still be sort of a big group of people because it is across all the consoles. So that'll be a good thing for it.
That's good, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to say whether Rocket League gets a sequel or whether they just keep continuing on Rocket League itself. I don't know, but I think this game will have longevity in the esports scene in general, and even just like the Twitch scene. Twitch scene. It's just massive, and I've always wanted to play it. But remember, it came out on PS4 as a free game. That's how it was first introduced.
No, I don't.
That's how it just blew up.
Oh.
Because it was introduced as a free game.
Yeah.
And I don't think without that free offer at the start, it wouldn't be as popular as it would.
Yeah.
But it came to Xbox for like 20.
Yeah, it's like I think it's about $26.
I don't think I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I don't think.
This was one of the games that I came across when I was sort of after I played Life is Strange, and I was looking at more of the smaller games, and I was sort of, because I sort of typed in the smaller games, top what are the best ones. Rocket League came up, and I was sort of thinking about it, but then I saw $26.
No, the only reason I'll pick it up is if it maybe halves the price in a sale, or even goes for free in a Games of Gold sale.
If you wait a few months, it'll be in one of those.
I'm so surprised that it didn't launch as a Games of Gold game. Don't you think it's a bit of a rip off to Xbox owners, a bit of a middle finger to Xbox owners, like, hey, PS4 owners got this for free, but you have to pay for it.
Well, I mean, they did develop it for. Or did it first come out on PC?
PS4 and PC. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Not really. It's. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say. That's just the way they've done it. I mean, is it the same price on PS4 now?
Probably. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, if it's the same price on PS4 now, then good for them. They know their game's popular. They know people are going to buy it. So why not just set a price that high? If that's what they think their game is worth, then.
True.
Fair enough.
True. Then we get the whole argument of, are multiplayer games worth that much? And because it's only multiplayer. Anyway, next piece of news is a pretty big one. PlayStation VR has a release date and a price for a worldwide release. And this is a big deal because I don't remember I'm not sure if you remembered the Oculus Rift pricing. Oculus Rift, the other big competitor in the VR scene.
Yeah.
That came out Australian that came out to be over about $1,000 for shipping and the
Oh, wow.
exchange rate
Yeah.
for Australians. Whereas in America, it's about 800 or something.
Yeah.
Still, that's a lot. PlayStation VR, I think, is going for about $650.
Yeah.
I think I saw.
I saw $550, but that was American, so yeah, it'd be about $650
Yeah.
for us.
It's I think that's about right.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it was any cheaper, I would question I would question the product as
Yeah.
to how good it actually was. If you're gonna make this thing good, it needs to be about that.
Don't you feel like are you an early adopter of like new tech?
No.
No,
I'm not. I am a very late adopter with most things gaming. I get games late. Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I wait months to get new things. So, I mean, we don't even have PlayStation. So,
I mean, yeah. Let's compare VR to like the launch of the iPhone. The first iPhone was apparently a piece of garbage.
yeah.
Compared to what it is now, like 8 generations later, eight different remakes, 7 or 8 different remakes later.
It was really iPhone 3 where people actually started to get iPhones.
Yeah.
I never heard of anyone getting an iPhone 1 and an iPhone 2. I only heard about it when iPhone 3 came out, to be honest.
Yeah.
And if this is its first product, then yeah, I don't think I'd be getting it now.
It's so.
This is the first time this thing has been released to the world, and I mean,
I think it's going to be like the Kinect. I don't think it's going to fail like the Kinect did, but it's going to be, everyone's going to jump into it. Everyone's going to realize that it's still extremely early days for VR. It can do some amazing things for sure with some pretty great games.
but every single time I hear someone speak about it who have used it, they say how amazing it is. I think it is pretty amazing. I just think that they don't really have the games for it yet. Like, there's games for it, but no big name games.
I think No Man's Sky is going to be a really big
As
one.
soon as there's a big name game and it works well, I think people will start to fork out the money, and it's going to be the next biggest thing. That's what I predict. I really think it's going to change gaming. Of course, it's not going to take over, as there's for years to come. There's still just going to be normal games that come out where you don't use it. But every now and again, there's going to be this huge game that comes out where you use VR, and yeah, it'll sell VR.
I mean, everyone's like, you read, like, if you ever saw that the front cover of Time magazine a while ago, it had, I think it was Time magazine, had the guy wearing a VR headset, and he was doing this like really weird, strange pose with it, and then everyone's photoshopped him.
Oh, really?
Different, awesome. But yeah, everyone's talking about like this is going to be a global takeover, like the next thing in technology.
Yeah.
But like we've been saying, it's early days for it. Yeah, we've never experienced it ourselves, so we can't comment on that. But
We've seen what it may look like with that Minecraft demonstration.
That's AR. That's augmented reality.
Oh.
Virtual reality is you're in the space.
In the space, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, give this another 3 to 5 years, and everyone, I'm positive that everyone will realize its full potential.
Yeah. Come next console generation, it'll be sort of integrated with that, I think.
Yeah.
And what does Xbox have? Does Xbox have?
They're betting on they're on to the HoloLens, which is more an AR.
Okay.
And of course,
So if VR takes off, PlayStation is really just going to take over.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's for sure. Like, PlayStation are already dominating the market. This is just going to blow it out of proportion now.
I mean, it's a dangerous territory, because if this does really take over, then, I mean, Xbox One is doing fine, but come next console generation, if VR is this huge thing, I don't know if Xbox doesn't have anything like that, I don't know who's going to buy an Xbox.
Maybe if VR is the big thing, maybe then Sony focus gaming on VR, then weed out the typical gaming platform, I guess, and then focus on VR, and then have Xbox. Man, I don't know. maybe have Xbox as the catalyst for just typical console gaming. Do you think they would? Nah, they can't rest on their laurels like that though.
No, I think really Xbox. If this does become a big thing, Xbox needs to match it somehow. Xbox needs their own sort of VR. Eventually, they're going to have to if this does take over and become a must-have gaming thing.
I don't know. This kind of like we've been saying, it is going to take over. It kind of disappoints me because I don't want to be. I don't want to be sitting in my room with a pair of goggles in my head.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. I mean, like it's only going to be once off where this huge game does come out where you do use it. And it's not going to be... It'll be like sort of 1 out of 10 games where you use VR.
I think the worst application of VR is probably like scary games.
Oh.
I don't... They've been talking about this this tech demo at last year's E3 called... I think it was called Kitchen.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
They tie you to a chair or something and they put the headset on you and apparently you get tortured and
oh my God.
Things come out everywhere. I couldn't imagine anything worse. Imagine that game, that game PT, that trailer, that playable trailer for Silent Hills game. Remember that?
No.
Oh, okay. Man, you need to get onto that. You want scary games? Look at PT.
I don't want scary games.
Well, just look at it. Or games like
Evil Within. It's not that scary and like that's what I'm good with. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, just imagine like Evil Within, not that scary, being just you looking through the eyes of someone in that world though is just instantly more scary.
I've seen like trailers of scary games like Slender and Outcast. Those are just beyond.
Sorry, did you say
Outlast? No, not Outcast. Outlast. Those games to me, I wouldn't play them.
No.
I mean they're completely different to Evil Within. Evil Within is considered a horror game, but it's compared to that is nothing.
Games like Outlast are there to discomfort you.
Yeah,
it's there to. No, it's so bad, but okay, yeah. PlayStation VR. It's coming around $650 for Australia. I think it's gonna go bonkers. Even if it doesn't have just yet the right application for it. It's gonna sell.
It'll have a slow start, but as soon as some big name games come out and it gets sort of mainstream media attention, it becomes sort of this trend. Yeah, it's gonna be huge.
Because PlayStation are doing it right. Because from what I heard, it comes with like this little extra peripheral with the VR headset, so everything just plugs into your PlayStation, but it comes with this extra box, which is kind of like an add-on hardware for the VR headset, and then the headset.
However, it doesn't come with a PlayStation camera. You have to buy that separately.
Oh, it needs
because I did read a thing that this first VR product, their audience is for the hardcore PlayStation audience, and that's why they didn't include the camera, because they assumed that this hardcore audience that they're selling this to already own one.
I didn't know PlayStation even had a camera.
I don't know much about it either, but apparently that's what you need, and that's what people have.
Remember the iToy? Was that what it was called?
That was awesome. That was like the first Wii kind of thing.
Man, that was so cool.
That was good.
What are those games? Those games that came with it was so much fun.
It was pretty much just like those Kinect games, like these. Kinect
Were you actually like you didn't have to hold anything to move around?
No,
it was
just using the camera in your hands, do things.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
Anyway, PlayStation are doing it right, because with Oculus Rift you need a powerful machine to run it.
Yeah.
Because it's PCs are so much of an open source, whereas PlayStation already has its hardware and its tech built in that you pretty much can't build onto that, whereas PCs you can. It's so Oculus Rift is a much bigger price point, because it's not just the unit you have to pay for. It's the bigger PC you probably need to run it as well.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see where Microsoft go from here. Maybe even Nintendo as well. Hey, what about the bigger companies? Like I know Google Cardboard, I think that shit is called.
Google Cardboard?
Have you put your phone in it? It's just like a cardboard box or something with like. Remember, it looks like those things, like those big chunky playthings. It switches between the pictures. You like click down the thing.
Yeah.
It looks like one of those kind of things, but it's like a VR thing.
It's ridiculous.
And Valve has, I think it's called the Vive headset. Valve are making that, which I've heard good things about. What about Apple? Have Apple made a dent in the market yet?
Well, you're asking the wrong person because I didn't know about any of those other things.
Okay.
So.
Well, it just seems like Apple are always the leading trend when it comes to new tech.
I'm waiting for Apple to bring out a console.
Oh, it's about time. Well, the Apple TV is pretty much a console.
How?
You can play games on it.
Yeah, but not Apple games.
Apple...
Apple needs to have an E3 conference.
no, you're blending the worlds there. No.
Should we move on?
Yes.
Okay, it's time for Would You Rather.
Yeah.
So, Jake, you've brought the questions this week.
Yes, I have, and I think I've got some good ones.
All right.
We'll start with the smaller questions. You know, the ones that... Okay. Would you rather... Wii U, would you rather the Wii launch with a Mario game or a Zelda game?
I'd rather the Wii U launch with a Mario game.
That's it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have never owned a Nintendo console with my own Mario game, and if they released one for Wii U, I would be going down to the shops to buy a Wii U, but they didn't. So, yeah, I've been waiting for many, many years.
Are you talking like a 3D Mario game?
3D Mario game, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Because, you know, the last time, I mean, Nintendo 64 was like the only sort of Nintendo console I've owned. Well, not owned, we owned as a family. But I've never actually had, you know, my own Mario game, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for that, and if that is a launch, then I'm getting NX at launch.
But if there was Zelda, would you still buy it?
Probably not. I'm not a huge Zelda fan.
Oh, okay. Also a Nintendo question. Would you rather Nintendo release their products unified across all the regions or continue how they're doing it?
Do you mean at the same time?
At the same time, yeah.
Yes. Because Japan always gets things earlier, don't they?
Sometimes we get things earlier.
We actually do get things a lot earlier than America a lot of the time.
Yeah, look at Bravely Second. We've
Yeah.
got a month before them.
But we're still waiting on Fire Emblem.
Why though?
I don't know.
Why?
It's weird how they do things. I would say then unified.
Yeah, I still don't understand why it's not because... Oh no. I don't think so, because Sony are pretty much a pretty big Japan audience. I think... that's just... No. Sony release a lot of games in Japan.
Yeah.
Most of the time don't even come here because
Yeah.
there's not an audience for it, or make their way very late.
When I was in Japan and I went to a store that was similar to JB Hi-Fi, they don't really have an Xbox section. They have a huge PlayStation section, and all the games were those games like Tales of Xillia.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much all those kind of JRPG games. None of our games like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, you don't really see them there. It's just all these games that I've never even seen before.
Yeah.
They have their own games that never come over here. It's just it's weird.
It's strange, eh? Yeah, cool. Borderlands. Would you rather Borderlands reboot the series or continue how it's going?
You don't mean remaster?
No, reboot. New mechanics, a new kind of edge to the game.
No, I think it's fine how it is. I think I just enjoyed Borderlands 1 so much because I played the whole campaign cooperatively. And then Borderlands 2 I played solo and I just didn't enjoy it as much. So I think the mechanics are fine. It's really fun, but yeah, I think it's fine.
Well, they're taking such a long time between pre-sequel and 3. It's been close to about 3 years now, I think, between releases, and still no word of Borderlands 3.
Maybe they're just avoiding fatigue.
That'd be good, yeah.
So they're doing the good thing, the right thing.
Yeah, because 2 and pre-sequel were pretty close together.
Yeah.
And there wasn't much change. They were pretty much the exact same engine of the game.
Yeah.
Just a different story and different location, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if they fired back really quick with the Borderlands 3 straight off the pre-sequel, you're right. People would have been getting pretty sick of it. Nice. Okay. Would you rather games with realistic graphics or stylized graphics? Much more cartoony and colourful?
Really depends on the game. Yeah, it really depends on the game.
Yeah.
Like at the moment, because I'm playing Assassin's Creed, you know, I'd love those graphics to be a lot more realistic, which they aren't too bad. I mean, with the Life is Strange, that's clearly a low budget game. It's clearly a very realistic game. It's trying to be sort of have a lot of real world attributes to it, but the graphics are very almost cartoony. There's sort of a lot of I don't know, the colours are very sort of shaded and coloured in.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, but I do prefer playing very cartoony games like Nintendo games, because that's sort of the games I like to play. So, I mean, if I had to choose between the two, I guess I'd go with the sort of, what word did you use to
Stylized.
Stylized. I'd go with stylized.
Yeah, I'd say the same, because those games are so... They can remain timeless in a way, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas realistic games, they're based off the current technology and the current best kind of graphics they can output at the time.
Yeah.
For example, one of the best looking games around at the moment, I don't know, Metal Gear Solid,
Yeah.
I guess.
One of those.
Witcher.
Witcher 3.
Yeah, Witcher 3? Oh, no, I think that's kind of ugly looking game. What's a game with really good graphics?
To go with a game that had good graphics, but you go on it now and it's just, you just can't look at it, is Rainbow Six Vegas.
Oh, yeah. See, and that was going for realistic.
Yeah.
So
So you can't look at that game these days.
No.
It's like...
But, okay, yeah, give it another 5 years. A game like Batman Arkham Knight. No way could you look at it. It would just be terrible.
Yeah.
So, what I'm saying is, a game, you look at Mario 64 now or something. Sure, it's a really old game with polygons and maybe the textures don't hold up, but the vibrancy and the life to the game still remains, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely stylized graphics. Me look at Zelda Wind Waker, the original. Even though they've rebooted it to a HD, the original still looks incredible.
And that HD remake, that'll be still good 10 years from now.
Yeah. Cool. Well, last question. Well, last would you rather? Would you rather a game with a strong story or strong mechanics? What pulls you through more? One or the other?
Mechanics. I don't really care too much for stories most times, because a lot of the times I'm looking for a game where I can just put on a podcast or put on some music and just not even really listen. Most of the time I want to just put the TV on mute. So I guess mechanics, if I'm like talking about maybe a rugby game or a sports game, good mechanics rather than just story. Where I mean, if I want a good story, I'll go watch a movie or a TV series.
Okay.
If I want a good game with mechanics, which is fun to play and gets me addicted, yeah, I'll go play a game.
But I mean, the game you're playing right now, Life is Strange, is a story-based game.
True, but I see it more as the hook for me is the player choice. I mean, if this game didn't have this player choice where you could have options to choose your dialogue, or this really interesting thing how you could go back in time and change what you say, if that didn't have any of that, and if it was just this story that you're playing out, I'd have no interest in it. I'd rather just go watch a movie. Okay,
but okay, you could say the same. What about in Dragon Age? If that didn't have player choice in it,
but it does. If it didn't have player choice, it'd be a different game. I don't think it. I definitely would not enjoy it as much.
There you go. If it didn't have choices and dialogue options, there'd be there's no interaction with the story. Then, would you be as enthralled with the game if there was no participation in the story like that?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh right, that's what you're arguing, isn't it?
Yeah. You like proved my point.
Okay. All right, never mind.
Because Dragon Age, like, origin story is really good. It gets you really in there, but that's just because player choice. It makes you feel like you're that person. It's a role-playing game. You're playing that role, and you're making those choices. I mean, that's what hooked me. If you didn't have the option to make those choices, then I wouldn't be interested.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's a mechanic. in a way.
For sure. Yeah. The lines do blur a bit, but I guess me personally, like, I kind of like a bit of both. Like, I don't mind playing. I always have a hankering to play a game with an awesome story now and again. For example, a game I talked about last year a lot was the Beginner's Guide, which was there was no game to it really. You were just walking, sometimes interacting. There are games like that now called Gone Home.
That's another game I was going to pick up as well.
Yeah, I've been eyeing that off for a couple of years now too. A game where you
expensive though.
It's a bit expensive on Xbox. It's
26, I think.
Yeah, maybe pick it up on Steam if you can do that. Yeah, those games you're just walking and interacting.
Yeah.
Where it's just the story. You know, those games like that are pretty much an interactive movie.
True. Yeah, because you don't interact with another character, do you?
No.
You're pretty much just searching a house and looking at things, figuring out this whole story just by reading things around the house. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's an interesting way to tell a story.
Yeah.
Doing it yourself, you know, proactively finding out things yourself. Whereas, you know, if you play a game like Gone Home, you can miss probably half the story if you aren't serious about it, you know.
The only thing with a game like that though, the mechanics of the character you're walking around with needs to be good, because if I was playing with Life is Strange mechanics and doing that, I probably couldn't play it for very long, because when you're Life is Strange, walking around and clicking on things to do, which you do a lot of, isn't very strong. It's very sort of fiddly.
Yeah, well, Telltale's like that too.
Is it? No.
It's
but
pretty
again,
bad.
with Telltale and Life is Strange, you do have lots of this interesting dialogue choice and player options. Gone Home is literally going around the house and clicking on things.
Yeah.
So the mechanics with that needs to be good, which is there's no real way of testing it unless you buy the game.
Yeah, that's true. Because the whole game is just you walking.
Yeah.
A walking simulator. So nice. Those are my questions.
All right. And that brings us to the end of another Would You Rather segment.
Did you enjoy those ones?
Yeah, pretty good.
Thought they were good.
I'm enjoying this episode. We haven't really talked about Nintendo. I love a good Nintendo chat, but for the past few episodes, we've sort of focused on it.
Was it last week our big Nintendo episode? Was that 2 episodes ago?
No, 2 episodes ago.
That's all. I could do that again.
Yeah. We've got to build up for it. We've got to wait.
True. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Franchise Wars. We'll do Franchise Wars, then we'll have a bit of a break, and then we'll finish the show. But Franchise Wars, during this segment, we pick a game pre-decided before the show, and if it is a franchise already, we talk about whether we wanted to see it continue or can it altogether. Or if it's a game that isn't part of a franchise, has no sequels, we talk about whether we wanted to see it have a sequel. So I've written 2 games down this week. The first one we haven't played, so that's why I've written 2, because the first one we might not have a lot to say about it, but I just wanted to talk about it. And the second one we have played quite a bit of, so we're going to talk about that as well. So the first one I'm going to mention is Minecraft. This is one that we both haven't played, but it is a huge game.
I'm actually just disappointed in myself that I haven't played this game.
I know, but it's such an ugly game.
I like the way it looks.
Oh, I don't know if I think if I was going to play it, I'd like to play it on a smaller screen. I think my TV's just a bit too big for how it looks.
Oh, I mean it's rendered nicely. It's widescreen and it's.
But to stay more focused on the segment, Minecraft isn't a franchise yet. It's one game. There's no Minecraft 2, and it's been out for years. And it's probably I would say one of the most popular games ever made.
Isn't it like the second most best-selling game in the world behind Tetris?
I don't know, but I would believe that.
Yeah.
Because obviously I work at a school.
Obviously.
Every single kid knows about Minecraft and has played Minecraft.
Yeah.
Whether you're in prep or you're in grade 6, whether you're a boy or you're a girl, everybody has played it. I mean, it's so surprising because most boys, they're sort of into video games and they know about a lot of video games. The girls that you wouldn't expect to know about video games and play them, they've all played Minecraft. It's crazy how everybody's into it.
Isn't that cool though? It's like generational. It's multi-gendered. It's just the game, the game that the world needed, I guess, for this age.
Yeah.
You know, it breaks just every single social barrier in the world.
Yeah.
And a game that, like you said, that can do that, yet it's still on its first game. You know? Yeah, you know, it's had updates pretty much like every month since its release, I suppose.
Yeah, adding all this new stuff. But I mean, I guess if there was a sequel, if there was a Minecraft 2, I'd love to see a graphical enhancement.
No, but that's the charm of Minecraft.
It can still be the same sort of blocky kind of thing. I mean, that's what it has to have. That's Minecraft. That's what it is. But just make it look nicer, you know, Wind Waker, like that kind of thing. You know, something better to look at.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Okay.
Minecraft with Wind Waker graphics. Come on.
I just can't picture that in my head at all because it's still all blocky, pixelated and stuff. But okay, what's the reason you've yet to pick this game up yourself?
It looks very involved.
Yeah.
I've also got I bought those Minecraft books. You know how they have the combat handbook and the collector's handbook kind of thing.
No.
They've got three books that you can buy, which is sort of like strategy guides kind of thing, and it tells you sort of about all the weapons. One book, another book tells you about all the stuff you can make and everything.
Cool.
But yeah, it's full on though.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna make something big, it's gonna take a while. I think it's a big learning curve, that game. It just looks like a game that you would sink lots of hours into, and it's something that I haven't really thought that I'd like to do that.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I'm the kind of person where I've kind of lost that creative spark to me now.
Yeah.
I've gotten lazy, and I need games where it just gives me what the tools I need to do the mission or whatever. Whereas Minecraft, it's just so open-ended.
Minecraft is about building stuff on your own. You want something built for you already.
Yeah, pretty much. Then with that, it's a game that I need to play with other people then.
Yeah.
Because then we feed off each other creatively, you know? Even if we're both not creative people, don't have that edge to us, we're still playing off each other. Though there's something then, because if I'm by myself, I'm just overwhelmed straight away. I don't know what to do. But it's always a game I've thought about where it's on Wii U now, and it's a game I thought about playing just like on the second screen while watching something else on TV.
Yeah.
And just, you know, grinding away, mining away, and I've thought about it. You know, I've got Pokemon to do that. You know.
Exactly. There's too many other games. It's the only game in the world, maybe.
Maybe. You know, if people say, what's the one game you'd have on a desert island, I would probably say, you know, if I actually played it once, I'd probably say Minecraft, because it's just limitless.
Yeah.
And if you're stuck with that game for the rest of your life, you can work it out. You know?
Exactly, yeah.
I just wish I had this game when I was a kid.
Yeah, I wish I grew up in this era of Minecraft.
Yeah, because imagine the kids who are playing and learning with Minecraft now.
Yeah.
When they grow up to be game developers themselves, imagine that. They've grown up with a game development tool in a way. Imagine the games they're going to be creating.
I mean, this game, like we talk about Pokemon now, this game will be their Pokemon. It'll be like this huge nostalgic thing. They'll talk about Minecraft.
Well, if it's their Pokemon, if it's their kind of that big mammoth thing, then look how Pokemon's evolved.
Yeah.
Look how Pokemon's gone over the years.
Still going.
Yes, it's just gone over 20 years. Minecraft is already in its 4th year?
5th or something?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And it's only on its first game yet. Yet it's already had spin-offs like a Telltale series. A movie is coming. I'm sure there's been, like you said, books and toys and comics and stuff. It's, you know, it's kind of growing into this universal thing. I'm surprised there's not like a kids TV show based on it yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's
It'll come. It's
come.
in the works.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Well, yeah, should we move on to the next one?
Do we answer the question?
Yeah, do we want to see a Minecraft sequel?
Sure, why not?
Minecraft 2.
What could they do with that though? Like you said, graphics, but like.
I mean, that's
mechanics,
why we don't really know. We haven't played it, so we.
No. They just maybe if they hold off these updates until a sequel, stop updating it now, and push it all to a sequel.
Do they need a sequel? I mean, not at the moment.
No,
It's still flourishing.
Every person I talk about, every person I talk to, they at least own the game one way or another.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in myself that I just don't own this game, even on my phone or on Steam or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure I'm like...
It's on basically everything now. Except for 3DS.
I'd love it. Man, I'd actually play it if it's on the 3DS.
Yeah, 3DS would be a good idea.
That's why I'm like, Vita seems so appealing to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Games like really cool indie games like that you can play on the go.
Yeah.
I'd love that. But anyway, let's move on.
Next game on the list for Franchise Wars is EA Sports PGA Tour.
2003.
That was the game that we played as kids. EA Sports PGA Tour 2003. Have you played any others?
No, actually.
Have you? I played EA Sports PGA Tour 2010.
Wow.
And I've got the newest one, Rory McIlroy. So they're the three I've played. 2003, we can honestly say, was a great game.
So good. Just so good.
And then when I played 2010, it lost that, whatever it was. And I don't know which year it had lost it, because apparently number 4 and 5 were pretty good.
But what is it, though?
The atmosphere, the feeling of hitting that ball, because remember when you hit the ball and you did this power strike in 2003?
Yeah.
I mean, the newer games, they don't have that. It's very sort of realistic. It's like a sim golf game. It's very...
Yeah, because in a way, like, they were trying to be simulators, but they still had an archaic kind of feel to it. It's a little cartoonish in a way. Yet you were playing with real-life players. And at the same time, you could play characters as Gramps or whatever his name was, and that big Tahitian-looking guy or whatever it is. So, yeah, you're right. It kind of lost that... It lost that humour maybe to it, that character.
Well, I mean, in Roy McIlroy, I'm pretty sure you can. It's got that sort of Battlefield kind of thing where you can.
Oh yeah.
But it's still kind of like, I don't know. It's just lost. Yeah. This feeling to it.
Are people just not into golf games anymore?
I was hanging out for this one. I was just waiting for it to be released because they didn't have one last year. And yeah, like I said, the last one I played before that was the 2010 one. And I was just disappointed after 2010. It just wasn't a good game. And I was just really looking for a good golf game. And Rory McIlroy isn't too bad.
What about...
It's not bad.
Yeah, because that was like critically panned, really. That was 3s and 4s around the board.
Yeah.
What about...
I don't think it's that bad.
What about that Masters game?
Yeah.
I remember you being pretty excited about that.
Well, yeah, I never played it though. So... I mean, the real question is, do we want to see the PGA Tour game continue?
I want to see... I don't want to see it die on this, because it was just such bad criticism on it. If I want to see it... I want to see it
I'm
pick
glad
it back up.
that once they got rid of Tiger Woods, they did get someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they didn't just can it all together.
But you feel bad for Rory McIlroy now, then, because as soon as he entered the frame, then the games have gone bad.
I just wish they just kept it EA Sports PGA Tour. That's it.
They didn't need a mass...
I don't think so. They don't need someone on the cover.
I think... No, but that's just EA Sports. That's their thing. They can't not have a person on the cover.
Yeah, but they don't need to call it that person's name. They don't do that for NHL or FIFA or
True.
NBA. They don't do it for anything else.
Yeah, that's true. Is this the curse again? We're talking about the curse of the UFC?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is Rory McIlroy still a good player?
I don't know. Aren't you the golf fan?
Oh, man. Get me when I was 7 years old.
When's the last tennis game EA Sports had? Was that
there was
Grand Slam Tennis 2?
Yeah, maybe that was 2010 or something. They were pretty bad, though.
Yeah, they weren't that great.
I remember Virtua Tennis. They were pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, we need a good tennis game. A good tennis game and a good golf game.
Oh, we've got Mario Golf, Mario Tennis to fall back on now.
That's Probably the second best golf game I've ever played.
Yeah.
Mario Golf World Tour is amazing.
I've heard good things about just from watching Let's Plays is like I think they're called Hot Shots Golf, or they're just kind of putt
Yeah.
kind of golf, but they're just so wacky and sandboxy that you need to play it with friends. And
Well, how bad is it that all these spin-off low budget cartoony golf games are getting better review scores than a serious proper big time sports game?
what
like
about that
EA?
what about that crazy destructive robot mecha golf game that was announced at PSX or something? It's a PlayStation exclusive game. It's like an indie cheap game, but look it up. It's like the big mechanized robots playing like golf in space and stuff.
Yep, don't know anything about it.
Okay, it looks pretty good. Maybe that's what we need. Robots.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it just seems weird that, like maybe if EA Sports had if this was a cheaper game, it wouldn't get as low scores.
Do EA Sports even need their golf franchise anymore?
Probably
They just
not.
make so. FIFA's just their juggernaut. They don't
Yeah.
need anything else.
I mean, I really don't want them to stop it. I want it to continue being a franchise, because if they do stop it, we don't have a proper golf game anymore. There was another golf game that got released by another company called the Golf Club.
No,
Do you know about that?
Yeah, you were telling me about this.
Yeah, and
was
that
PC only, wasn't it?
it came out on console.
Oh, okay.
That actually seemed all right. The graphics were pretty good as well, and I never played it, so I don't know about the mechanics of the game. But after years and years of releasing golf games, I mean, Rory McIlroy's PGA Tour, I mean, the putting still seems a bit off. By now, you think they would have got it. And in previous reviews I've watched of old golf games, like 03, 04, 05, those the heydays of the golf games,
Yeah.
the putting was praised as, the perfect, sim game. How has it changed so much to it's not good anymore? Why not keep that same thing?
I don't know. What about when they started going motion control with the Kinect and the Wii? Were they still alright games then?
I don't know. I must have skipped that whole.
Yeah, we
phase.
did. Yeah.
I don't know anything about how they did that.
You know, it was a good game. Wii Sports Golf.
Oh yeah. Yep. Using the Wii remote.
So good.
Yeah.
So simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could also do that with the Wii U, couldn't you? Use the gamepad as the putt,
as the ball.
as the ball, and then you hit it.
Yeah.
That was in the original Wii U trailer when it was announced.
Yeah, I don't think
E3.
any kind of sports games. Oh, there's Wii Sports Resort.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, but if I'd like to see this continue or not, yeah, like don't let it die on such a bad note. Like,
How about release Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2003 remastered?
why? They would never do that.
Or just take us back to the heyday of those years. I mean, they must know that those games got the highest review scores, and
Of course.
if you just type in the list of best EA Sports golf games, PGA Tour games, those always come up in every single person's list. Those games as the top ones.
Yeah.
So they must be aware of how those games were good. Why not just play those games again and see how they could sort of take us back to those days? I just don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know either.
But yeah, to answer the question, yeah, I'd love to see the golf game continue. And I think Roy McIlroy's PGA Tour is going to be biannually now.
Oh,
It's
right.
not annually, so
Yeah.
it is biannually, which is good.
Yeah.
I mean, does that mean they take 2 years to make it, or they have a year off and they bank it for a year? I don't know.
That's you can never tell with EA games because. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure that takes 2 years to make anyway, because I'm sure they've already started on FIFA. I mean, they're working on FIFA 17 now, but they've maybe already started on FIFA 18 as well.
Oh, you never know. Yeah.
Who knows how they do things. I mean, to be honest, I can't see how they could spend more than a year on making a new FIFA game.
Less than the year, you mean?
More like the game's already done. They just need to change a few things they changed the roster, and maybe I don't think they update the graphics at all. It's just
Oh yeah, the graphics get a push up every year, and
tiny.
they say they change it. They fundamentally change the game every time, but who knows if that's true? People still buy that thing.
Well, we're going to take a little break, and we'll come back with our topics of the show. back, Jake. We're pretty tired. It's pretty late at night.
Well, not that late.
We're just.
I've been up really early this morning. Had to work early, but you are a constant early waker for work.
Yeah. I usually go to bed about right now. Yeah. So that's why I'm pretty tired. So, yeah. I'm just yawning and we're getting through it, though.
We're going to power through it. That's why we're only going to bring up my topic for the week.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a bridged kind of show, but one topic for the show, and that is Toys to Life. Were they a phase, or is there still a successful business out there for them? Now, Toys to Life come in many different shapes and forms. Amiibo, which we both own, even though you only have one sad little Amiibo on your shelf there.
Yeah. Just the one.
Disney Infinity, Lego Dimensions, and also Skylanders, which is the most seasoned of them all. Skylanders. I've kind of dabbled here and there, as we said. Amiibo, I own. I must have about seven Amiibo now. And I also own a few Disney Infinity characters, all Star Wars characters, which I got pretty into over the break between 2015 and 2016. Because of course I got sucked into the Star Wars hype pretty big. But me, they're definitely aimed at kids for sure, but I enjoy the more collectible side of it. I like having the figures on my shelf. They're just well designed figures, and I'm sure I enjoy the games too, but I prefer the better version I see of it is having a toy, really.
Yeah.
There's just another thing for my shelf, and I love it. Amiibo especially, I hardly use Amiibo in my games. To be honest, they're not put to much use, really. So, I just keep them on my shelf, and I love looking at them. But is there still a market out there for them? Is Skylanders still hyped?
I think it's very different for us as adults. We're not children, so we don't really know what the hype is like. And I think the way we use these Toys to Life is very different to how children or young teenagers would use them as well, because as you said, you like to collect them and have them on your shelf to look at. A lot of kids and young people would just love to have these characters because they want to use them in the game. That's how they're supposed to be used. And I'm sure when they first came out with this idea, Toys to Life, there was something in their mind, if we design them in a way that they actually look good when you put them on a shelf, that's another way that people would buy them as well. I'm sure that goes through their minds.
Yeah.
That's why they do look so good, and that's why they're well built, and that, they've got a lot of detail in these characters. So, I think it's a huge phase at the moment, and I don't really see any signs of stopping anytime soon. Yeah. I think, to me, the biggest brand of Toys to Life is Amiibo, to me.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Do you see it differently? Or Skylanders would probably rival that, but I just think Amiibo is Amiibo not higher selling?
They sell millions. It's hundreds of millions of them.
And that's because there are a lot of collectors out there who want to collect every single one.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people talking about how they don't even like these characters. They don't even want to get them. It's a chore sometimes to get them. They have that collector mentality. They just have to get them all.
Look, I'll be lying if that thought hasn't passed my mind that I want all of them. But
so you've considered just getting them all?
Yeah. Even though characters like Rob and Duck Hunt Duo, but I just, it's not a full set now. I own 1/15 of the set or something like that. So it's totally incomplete, and it would be crazy if I wanted to buy them all, all the Animal Crossing figures and all the different Yoshis, and I don't know. Just because I'm such an avid Nintendo fan, it's kind of like a disservice of not buying them all, But so far, my collection is complete with all my favorite characters.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the safe collector's mentality you have to have. you collect your favorite characters.
Yeah.
And then you say to yourself, it sort of looks like you've got them all because you have got all your favorite characters.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the way you can see it.
Yeah, but right now I've got all my favorites, you know?
Yeah.
And then going back, I'm just like, oh, Captain Falcon's a favorite. Falco's a favorite, maybe.
Yeah.
So, maybe one day I'll dive a little deeper in the collection. Because to be honest, they've really upped their games on the quality of Amiibo. Link, who was one of the first ones, just looks, compared to the rest, just looks terrible. His face, there's no detail on his face. Look at Ganondorf and Palutena or whatever. Just awesome detail on them. They look great.
Yeah, they are getting better
Yeah.
in their quality, I think.
In terms of Disney Infinity, I own some of the Star Wars characters, like I said, and they have a different art style to their figures. It's definitely more a cartoony feel rather than a realistic feel. That's just the way the games are designed, and I like the way they go. And to be honest, I actually really enjoy Disney Infinity 3, I think it is. The game is clearly for kids. It's so simple in design, yet I was after that kind of collectathon scratch, because the game is just a big collectathon in itself, and you're just working your way from point A to point B and bashing up a few guys in between. But at the time, I was just after a game like that. I just need to scratch that itch. And there's also the kicker to Disney Infinity is the toy box mode or something, where you can just build games in itself.
Yeah.
Which as I said, like we were saying before, I've got no creative edge to me. I just like playing other people's creations, which is awesome. So, we're probably going to be expecting a new Skylanders game this year. There's no Disney Infinity game this year. They're still building on 3.0 because the new round of
What
toys.
can they do for a new Disney Infinity? Because
They
they change it up every year. Well, the first one was Marvel. No, the first one was Disney.
Yeah.
Like Pixar.
Yeah.
The second one was Marvel.
Yep. And this time around is Star Wars.
Yeah.
They're the main focus. They're the main focus, but they put out other characters like Inside Out characters, and the new line coming out is going to be finding Nemo characters.
But that's all to do with the Pixar as well. But is there a new thing that they can do?
Yeah, I don't know. Indiana Jones?
I don't think they could build a whole game. I don't think it's popular enough for kids to build a whole game on it, because it is essentially a kid's game.
True. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. As I said, they're taking a year off and just extending on 3.0. So it'll be interesting. And then, of course, we haven't even touched on Lego Dimensions, which is a whole other thing in itself, because it's different because it's Lego. You build the thing yourself. It comes in pieces. You build the figure, which I think is really cool.
Man, I'm so impressed with Lego. I mean, Lego, when we were kids, it was just those Lego, brick things where it's Lego, the play things.
Yep.
If they didn't get into this whole gaming sort of thing and
like movie times
and everything, they'd just be lost now.
I remember. Oh, for sure. I remember.
They're so smart to get into this sort of this side because they know, this is how kids are growing up now.
Yeah. I don't remember what year it was kind of introduced, but I remember having a Harry Potter Lego set. So I don't
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure when it kind of switched over. Because I remember just the general Lego, but then having a few movie stuff as well. But Lego Dimensions is so expensive though, because Lego in general is just expensive as hell
as a brand. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always, I've eyed off some of those Simpsons characters, some of those Back to the Future, Ghostbusters characters. Man, they'll be so cool to have on your shelf, but it's just so expensive. Yeah. So I mean, I can see them keep going, but for how much longer?
I mean, they keep bringing up they keep making new things, and it keeps selling. So they keep making new ideas, the ways you can use Amiibo, especially in their new games. I mean, games they just announced, like the new Kirby game. They announced a new line of Kirby characters and different ways you can actually use Amiibo. They said you can pretty much tap any Amiibo and something will happen, and that's just on a 3DS game. So I think it's the way that it's going to keep selling is if they keep evolving the ways you can use Amiibo.
Yeah.
So that's the way I think that it'll keep going, and that's the same with all the other games as well. I mean, at Disney Infinity, if they come out with a 4.0 and have all these new different characters, I mean, that's the way it can keep going. I don't think they can sort of stay on one thing for too long.
No. Back to Amiibo, I think the smartest application of Amiibo they've done so far, which was the first thing Amiibo was introduced for, was the Smash Bros thing. Where you build up in your training an AI, like your own little personal character.
Yeah.
And
if it was introduced any other way, I don't think it would have taken off.
No.
What if it came out with Mini Mario and his Amiibo friends in that game? Like, if it came out just for that, to introduce Amiibo, no, it would not take off.
No, but yeah, it was really clever how they did that. It was learning off you, and it felt real but it was a toy sitting on your shelf, you know.
Yeah.
So it was really clever. Yeah, Nintendo really took it their own, which I'm glad. But yeah.
We were really confused when we first used Amiibo. We didn't know anything about it, and you got your first Amiibo. You tapped it into your Smash Bros game, and you thought when you tapped it in, you used that character.
Yeah.
But that's not how you use it.
No.
It just, you train that character, and you fight your character.
Yeah, I think it was better off though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea now. It was just weird at the start that we really thought that's what would we use.
Yeah. Because for like if they kept that, like if you tap in the Amiibo and you play as that character, maybe that's the way they could have done DLC differently. You know, you buy the Cloud Amiibo, you tap the Amiibo in,
and you've got that character. Yeah,
it'd be cool if they integrated that somehow.
Yeah,
because
so you can only unlock the character by buying the Amiibo.
Yeah,
that'd
be cool.
There'd be outrage for that though.
You think?
I think people would complain about that. For sure.
Maybe
because Amiibo what, $18 to buy a character DLC was about $8.
Yeah. I don't know. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. So to answer the question, do they sort of have a future? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's only just begun.
You think?
Yeah.
It's been around for a few years.
Oh, it's still early days, I think.
Skylanders is still a big deal as well. There's a TV show on that.
Yeah, true.
Remember, because Skylanders started as Spyro, and then they shoved him under the mat pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Now it's just all about Skylanders. What was cool though, I think they're Amiibo. The Skylanders, Donkey Kong and Bowser set.
Oh yeah.
I've always wanted them. They look cool.
Yeah.
But they only work in Skylanders.
Yeah.
Wait, so they can't be Amiibo then?
Why don't you get into the Skylanders games? Have you ever thought about that?
No, that would be the last thing I'll do.
Yeah.
Definitely, if anything, I'll do Lego next and pay for it. Pay out of my ass for it.
No, stick with Amiibo. Just keep buying that.
Yeah. Like I said about the collector thing, there's only a few left with the Star Wars characters. But then they've got like weird characters like Star Wars Rebel characters.
Yeah.
You know that TV show? I don't even think that TV show comes to Australia, yet they sell the characters. So I don't know. I don't want them.
No. Collector mentality, you gotta hold off.
Gotta set some barriers. Yeah.
Well, we won't do my topic. We'll move on. Maybe save it to next week. No, we've got another topic, buy or deny.
Yes.
So in this segment, we talk about the games that are coming out next week. We're going to talk about whether we're going to buy them or not. I think there were 6 games on the list. Remember, we are not talking about any Vita games or PlayStation 4 games. We're just focusing on 3DS, Wii U, or Xbox One games. The first game on my list that I've written down is Trackmania Turbo. Do you know anything about this game?
I know about Trackmania. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a new Trackmania game called Trackmania Turbo, and it looks really good. From what I've seen, the gameplay I've seen, I think it's literally just like little 30-second courses, and you get thrown into this course, and then you start, and you've pretty much just got to race to the end as fast as you can.
I remember this being talked about at E3 actually.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's sort of it's a mix of F-Zero X, Mario Kart 8, and like F1, like Formula driving. It looks like it's, they got real cars and everything, but the courses, how they're set up, it's sort of like that Mario Kart 8, how it's got the, you go upside down sometimes, and F-Zero X, because it's so really fast paced.
You got to knock everyone out and stuff. And
Oh, I don't. The game. I mean, I'm sure you can play with other cars, but the gameplay I saw was literally just racing your own time. You got to race your Ghost as well.
oh, okay. Is this on Xbox? Is it?
Yeah, Xbox One. It's coming out on 24th of March.
Cool. All right.
I don't think I'd get it if it's literally just doing those little short courses, 30-second courses. But if there are full-length courses where you can do full-length races, then it's something that I'll look into. It looks very fast-paced and looks pretty cool.
Cool. All right.
Next game, Hyrule Warriors Legends for the 3DS comes out on the 26th of March.
Deny.
Yeah, deny. Big deny for me. You've already got it on Wii U. You
Yeah,
don't
so
really play it.
I don't.
And
Why would I downgrade from a game
yeah.
I already own?
Well, downgrade, I mean, there are a lot of upgrades in it. A lot of things added into it.
But
I would say this is more the definitive version.
Why though? Why on a less powerful system?
But I don't know.
Oh, that just confuses me. Oh, I don't get that.
But yeah, big deny for me. I downloaded the demo. It was just boring. It's just hack and slash and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it. I haven't sunk enough hours into it. I kind of like the way the story progressed because it's kind of like an alternate universe kind of thing. You branch off into the Twilight Princess universe and the Ocarina universe, Majora's Mask. So that's what's keeping me through, really. Yeah.
Next game is Farming 2017: The Simulation.
Is that what it's called? I thought it was called Farming Simulator.
Well, maybe they've changed the title.
Oh, changing it up.
25th of March it comes out.
Man.
So I don't know why it's called Farming 2017. We're pretty much just at the start of 2016.
Ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
These games are huge, though. Have you seen the community around these games are mammoth?
Yeah, I've never played one.
Me neither. But it's just they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
If you got like a favorite streamer or Twitch user or something
Yeah.
who plays these kinds of games, then they're so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I think I'll watch gameplay when this one comes out. It's definitely not something I'm going to get, but definitely something I really want to watch maybe an hour or two of.
I just don't. The developers behind these games must just be. They just must still think it's a joke, don't they? Like,
Yeah. Did it start off as a joke or something?
Obviously, because the amount of I don't know if you've browsed through. If you just type in like, go to the tag in Steam, like simulation games in Steam.
Yeah.
There's Bear Simulator, Ant Simulator.
Oh my god.
All the like Tea Party Simulator. Like Surgeon Simulator. That's a good one too. They started with jokes, but these like farming simulators.
Oh, is the Surgeon Simulator? Is that the one how you pretty much just
You've
like
got the arm.
you got the tools, yeah,
yeah.
and he just knocks everything over. Yeah,
That's it,
that's
yeah.
a good one.
That's actually the first video I got into Achievement Hunter.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've watched that. Yeah, I've watched that. Yeah.
That was my first introduction.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Next game on the list is Tropico 5 for Xbox One. Comes
Oh.
out on 25th of March.
Finally.
The thing I don't understand about this game is there is absolutely zero hype. I've looked up gameplay on YouTube and there is no gameplay for Xbox One, yet it is coming out next week.
Oh.
Nothing. Nobody's talking about it. And I don't understand why. Because I think maybe this game is huge on PC. All the PC gamers are into it. I don't think anybody else is into it.
Does it translate well to a controller?
Well, that's what I wanted to find out. I wanted to see gameplay, but I can't find anything.
Well, I mean, it's not out yet, so don't expect too much.
But usually, a week out, there's something on there. Even a trailer.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Is it full priced? Do you know?
Yes. From what I believe, yes.
Wow, okay. Well, I was pretty keen on this, but if you said there's no...
Well, if it is straight port from the PC, I'm definitely getting it because it looks really good on PC.
Yep.
So, I mean...
You played another Tropico game, haven't you?
I played Tropico 4, yeah. Which apparently wasn't as good as Tropico 3.
Okay.
I think Tropico 5 is a lot better though. So, but number 4 I did get into for a little bit. I didn't really stick with it. It's very involved.
Yeah.
You need to spend a few hours to get... More than a few hours to sort of learn the lore of the game.
Sure, yeah.
It's pretty heavy. I mean, the strategy games that we used to play, like Rise of Nations, that kind of thing, they're like children's games compared to what's involved in this one.
Rise of Nations had no strategy.
No.
Unless we didn't...
It's just all the government things,
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you need
Yeah,
to do
because
with
it's
it.
different than a city builder. Sure,
Yeah.
you're building a city, but you're
the president.
Yeah, you have to govern as well. You have to lead, and
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, so I'm in. Next game, Dr. Kawashima's Devilish Brain Training. Can you stay focused?
Dr. Kawashima, he's back.
And that's not a question. That's actually part of the title as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Can you stay focused? But that comes out next week on the 3DS.
I'm gonna get that. Remember the game I had?
Yeah. Brain training. Yeah.
He hasn't been around since. Like he had a second game on DS.
Yes. However, I think this is mainly focused on literally just focus games. Like, how can you stay focused?
Oh, okay.
So it's not really. I mean, what was your brain training game about? Was that like maths and English?
Maths and yeah.
Yeah. So
Really
I'd
maths and
rather
English.
something like this. This is a lot of focus activities kind of thing.
What made the Dr. Kawashima games just so popular is because that it was pretty much a launch game, I think, for DS,
Yeah.
and then because DS was just out of the gate a mammoth success with all ages. This game was just like a mum game, you know.
Yeah.
Like mums would play
Yeah.
like I'm so smart, but I felt smart too playing it, you know.
Yeah. So what age were you when you played that game?
Wow. 12, 13?
And it depending on what your score, when it put your age up, it said how smart you were. Like
Yeah.
it said you were like a 16-year-old smartness.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is completely inaccurate.
Yeah, it had science around it, but it was
But
dumb.
did you actually learn stuff from the game? It taught you things?
Ooh.
Because I like to think Professor Layton is teaching me things.
Professor Layton definitely taught you things. I think Brain Age just taught me how to be just quicker at, because I can't remember much to it, but there were just very quick math problems.
Oh, yeah.
Very quick, like
Yeah.
you had to pick up errors in sentences and stuff. It just taught you to be a more rapid like learner, I
Yeah.
suppose, which is a good thing.
You just process things faster.
Yeah, which is that trains your brain, I guess. So
Yeah.
it did its job.
Yeah.
Have you seen remember that AGDQ thing they do at the start of every year?
Yeah,
Awesome Games Done Quick. There was a thing. There's this thing called Tazbot, which I think is a ROB unit, but they hack it, and they plugged it into brain training, and you know the base of the game that you hold your DS vertical,
Mm.
and then you've got the dual screen. So on the left screen, if you depending on what hand you use, one screen shows it, and one screen you draw on. Obviously the touch screen, but yeah, okay. And so they hacked it where they just whatever came up, they were just drawing. The Tazbot was just drawing images, and I can't explain it, but you just have to watch because it's a robot just programmed to just I don't know, just break the game. It's awesome. Watch it.
Okay. I guess I have to watch it.
I can't explain it well.
Right.
It's just
Well done though. Well said.
yeah. All right. I had no idea about this game though.
Yeah, I had no idea either. It was literally just maybe half an hour before we started the show. I was looking some more things up and I found this game. It was on Mighty Ape
Okay.
for sale. Comes out next week.
So, wow, this wasn't even announced in the direct or anything.
Well, I looked up gameplay for this game, and there was a lot of gameplay. I think it was for this game, but it was in 2013 uploaded by an American website. So unless we got this game like 3 years late, because it seems like it's the same game. I think it's got a different name, but
Okay, that's really odd.
yeah.
Is it like a digital or physical release?
physical?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll look into it. I'd be keen
Yeah.
to get back into that.
Next game is a game that we talked about last week, but because we're sort of doing a show not at the end of the week, we did a show on Sunday. Today's Thursday.
Yes.
Pokken Tournament.
Pokken.
It's coming out Saturday.
Yeah.
You didn't pre-order, did you? You
No,
just-
I was actually going to today, but yeah, I didn't.
So definitely still going to pick it up.
For sure.
Yeah.
Day one.
I've been seeing a lot of review scores. It's getting 8s and 9s.
I did see just scores. I didn't read the reviews because I want to stay away from it. I just wanted to see the scores. I saw GameSpot gave you the 9.
Yeah.
Others, I think IGN was at 8, 8.5 maybe.
That's pretty good for just a fighting game.
Yeah.
Not fighting games don't get that score.
I'm so stoked. I can't wait
Yeah.
for this. I can't wait. I hope there's, since I've been staying away from it, I hope there's a good online functionality to it
Yeah. Yeah.
because that will probably make or break it for me.
Well, usually those review sites take that into account as well.
Mm.
And if it's getting scores like that, then I'm sure it's got something good
Yeah,
for that.
because they're trying to make this a competitive. They're trying to build this into the competitive scene as well.
Yeah.
Which they've already done some championships with it, so there has to be online then, doesn't there? I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited for it. Are you? You gonna play it with me?
Maybe.
Ugh. I haven't got really the controllers for it either. I don't know what.
Yeah, you don't have a second. I'll play Dead Island with you.
Ugh.
I'm just waiting. We'll play it.
Yeah.
The last game on the list is Fire Emblem Fates. Comes out on the 21st of March.
No, you're wrong. It comes out in May.
This is what it said on EB Games.
No, it comes out in May, doesn't it?
This is what it said.
Are you sure? No, you looked at that wrong. Because
Well, I was surprised.
yeah, I'll be shocked if that comes out this month.
Well, you check then.
Shocked and appalled. Yeah, May 21st, you dumbass.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
God.
Cross that off the list. Fire Emblem Fates, it does not come out next week. So that, did I excite you, or?
Now I'm sad, really.
Sad,
Yeah. You got my...
I can't believe we have to wait till May.
Why? I mean... okay, no. I don't know.
Ridiculous. So yeah, that's the end of Barbs and I. So we'll move on to just a tiny little segment that I wanted to squeeze in here. A new one called Hype Time. Literally, let's just say what we're hyped for in the next coming few days.
Look, can I start?
Yeah, you can start.
Yeah,
ahead.
look, you know, I've talked enough about Pokemon Tournament. You know how hyped I am for that.
Sure do.
I'm actually going to talk about a movie. 21 Cloverfield Lane, or 21 Cloverfield Lane?
10 Cloverfield Lane.
10. Where did I get 21 from? I'm tired. 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty
sounds
hyped
right.
on this. I was a big fan of Cloverfield. Not many people were.
No, yeah.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
It was good. It was one of those first movies where it used the handheld style.
Yeah, people just weren't used to it.
No.
And it was used to a pretty extreme amount as well. Too shaky in some points, but that was the charming thing about the movie.
I remember seeing it in the cinemas, and I was sitting behind some 40-year-old man who's, you know, obviously not his taste in movies. He's into the more die-hard kind of movie, that kind of thing. And after the movie finished and the credits came on, he's like, "That was a bloody waste of time, wasn't it?"
God, I can imagine our dad saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Cloverfield, it was just, and a lot of people hated the ending in that. I loved the ending in that because it just opened the door wide open.
Which we haven't seen anything since until now.
No, but what interests me about this is that it's not a sequel. It's just another movie based in the same time frame as the happenings of the original first movie.
Yeah.
So it's just another story in that universe, which I love.
And it's the exact same time as when it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, there's no shaky cam. It's a proper movie now. It's actually got some pretty well-known actors in it. John Goodman.
Yeah.
The chick from bloody 50 Shades of Grey. I'm pretty sure, right?
I don't know.
No, she looked familiar. I don't know. It's got a good concept to it, so I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, it's good. What I'm hyped for is getting season 5 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It came out yesterday, and I'm going to pick it up on the weekend. So, yeah, that's what I'm hyped for.
Are you going to start watching... season 6 starts pretty soon. Are you going to record it at all?
I don't have anything to record it on, so... Nope.
Okay.
I'm just going to wait an entire year to watch season 6.
No.
That's what I have to do. In the meantime, I've got to get into other shows so I can do something while I'm waiting. I'll probably pick up Fear the Walking Dead. I'm also going to try and get into Homeland. Have you heard of that?
No. Oh, yes.
It's actually up to season 6 at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Homeland, so
yeah,
it doesn't look too bad. And also, have you heard of the 100?
Of course, I have heard of that.
You seen it?
No.
Oh, that's right. I asked you to watch it. You
Yeah,
haven't seen it yet.
many times.
It's good series. So I want to. I've only seen season 1, so I want to finish off that. So let's go to our last segment of the show, Nos Shuffle. So Nos Shuffle is where we pick a game from a list of games that we've written down from our past, from either the 90s or the noughties, and we go down memory lane and talk about it. And the game that has come up is Obscure.
Ooh.
Do you remember this one?
I do.
Yeah.
One that we could probably talk about for Franchise Wars as well.
Yeah, actually we could.
Actually, I don't know, like, is this based off another franchise, or is it
This
a
is
spin-off to
This is based off.
Silent Hill?
No, it's based off a movie. I don't know whether the movie's based off this or this is based off the movie. The movie's called The Faculty, and the movie is pretty much about the same thing, where they're sort of locked in a school and they're figuring it's sort of like a horror movie. Something's happening in the school.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a movie that was released in maybe 2000 or something like that. Yeah, but Obscure is this horror game. It was probably the first horror game that I've ever played. You as well?
Probably the same, yeah.
It's probably it's a serious horror game as well. Bit of gore as well. I originally played this at a friend's place. We didn't get very far into it, but then I picked it up and brought it home. Then I played with you cooperatively. It's a good game. It's probably best played co-op.
Yep.
There are 4 characters in the story, so you can play 4-player co-op. We only ever played 2-player co-op though. And each player can play as one of these characters. The thing with this game is, if one of these characters dies, that's it. They're not in it anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So, there was 2 guys and 2 girls, and they each have their own different sort of personalities and all that. They all sort of stay in this one room. It's this classroom, and then they go around the entire school sort of finding clues about what sort of happened. I can't really remember the story too much. There was, I think, a murder that happened in the school, or there was some girl or guy that was kidnapped. No, remember at the start of the story, this you play as this guy, and he was he's going down sort of these dungeons under the school or something, and then he gets killed by this monster, or he's in prison on the monster.
Okay, yeah.
And then 4 of his friends stay back after school one time once the school closes, and they try to figure out what happened. So the first maybe 2-3 hours of the game is the afternoon when everybody's gone home, and they sort of go around searching for clues around the school, and there's some monsters that pop up in the school or whatever, and then it turns nighttime, and then sort of when you go into the classrooms again, more monsters are coming out. And you start off with using baseball bats, crowbars, that kind of thing, and then you end up finding guns. Really, really fun game, but challenging as well.
Yeah, and I loved the concept of this game.
Yeah.
Just like typical, like what do you call it? Like one of those cheesy horror movie kind of thing. What do you call it? Like slasher movies.
Yeah.
It had that, just based in the school as teenagers, and they, as soon as they pick up a gun, they know how to use a gun, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the concept. Like you said, challenging. I remember the part we got stuck on. We were in the drama theater.
Yeah.
And then we just backtracked the whole school hundreds of times looking for what to do, and we could never figure it out.
We never figured it out, and that's why we stopped playing. We just couldn't figure it out. I mean, if we had the internet, we would have just gone through that, but it might have been just something really simple.
It was probably something simple, hey.
And we would have just moved on. We could have probably finished that game, because we were pretty deep into that game at that point, and we just literally couldn't figure out what to do. And this game does include lots of puzzles like that, as well as a lot of action. So it's got a bit of a mixture. There's lots of puzzles like remember that puzzle where you had to go upstairs but this door was locked by this bar, and you had explored this science room before, so you knew downstairs there was this acid, and then you had to get the paper cups, and then you put the acid in the paper cups, then go upstairs and pour it onto the metal bar so it melts, so you can open the door.
Wow, okay.
It was puzzles kind of like that.
Yeah.
But the thing was, the acid melts through the paper cups, so you had to go quickly without stopping. So it's puzzles, lots of puzzles like that you sort of had to figure out how to get places.
Yeah.
And it had that sort of Resident Evil style. When you pick up an object, it'll show that big blown up photo of the object, and you could sort of rotate the object.
Yeah, it was very Resident Evil, wasn't it?
Yeah, that kind of thing. But yeah, I just think it was really cool. Yeah, really cool concept, being at a school after the school has been closed, and it just got pretty scary towards when it turned nighttime as well, because you go to different parts of the school throughout different parts of the game. I remember when it went nighttime, you were able to go to the cafeteria. You had to go all through there, and monsters were all up in the ceiling. You had to all shoot them down. There was another sort of, there's big shocks sometimes. I remember you walk into the janitor's closet and there's, I think, blood everywhere. He'd been torn to shreds and that kind of thing. Yeah, it was just a really fun game, and I really wish they had sort of a game that was like that. There's nothing that's like that
Now, you mean?
Yeah, now.
Yeah, because Resident Evil kind of deterred away from that kind of style, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no real... I guess you could say maybe Amnesia, those games Amnesia.
I don't know those games.
No, they're just kind of like one of those scary games too, but yeah, no real... Yeah, Obscure was really one of a kind, hey? Just, like you said, puzzle solving plus really great tension and, I don't know, like, great story with it too, like... Yeah, bring that back.
if you've never played Obscure, it's the gameplay mechanics is very similar to the Resident Evil or Evil Within, kind of the way you move and the way you look at things and everything. It's third person view, but yeah, just some little things that they did to make it different was, of course, like you had the 4 characters. If one of them dies, you can't play with them again. They don't finish the story, and the setting was in a school and. Yeah, it was a good story as well. Literally, you're just finding out clues of what happened to this person, to your friend. And, yeah.
I can't remember, like, that was a pretty old game. Did games like that old include permadeath? How old's Fire Emblem?
Oh, Fire Emblem's a lot older.
Oh, okay. Well, a game like... Yeah.
I think Obscure came out in 2002.
Oh, okay.
So it was an original Xbox game. I'm not sure if it was released on PS2. Oh yeah, it was actually, because I played it on PS2 at a friend's place. So yeah.
Yeah, nothing but good things to say about this game.
I think if you look at it now, it might be pretty bad graphics.
Oh yeah, I remember it kind of being like, it was kind of like they rubbed Vaseline over the lens kind of game. Really, really blurry-ish, kind of bland.
And I'm 100% certain if I go back to it now, the dialogue would be very, very cheesy.
Oh yeah, but because we're kids, we just ate it up.
Yeah,
we said, just like slasher kind of typical girl boy kind of. Yeah, one guy's the jock, one girl's the slut.
Yeah, yeah. I remember there's this scene where if you're playing as one of the girls, there's a scene where you're in the bathroom and you have to climb up to the into the little grates.
Oh yeah. The vents?
Yeah, into the vents. And it shows this behind shot of just her ass going in. And it's just like, why are you showing me that view? It's like,
yeah. So unnecessary.
Yeah, it's so unnecessary. But yeah, there was this... and it depending on which characters you liked, you mostly play with the ones you don't like because you don't want the ones you like to get killed.
Okay,
so,
yeah. It'd be... I can't remember our playthrough if anyone died, to be honest. And I wonder if when one of them did die, how dramatically that changed the story. You know?
I mean, when I played with my friend, I played with the characters who've died, and that's how I found out that they don't come back. But yeah, really didn't get too deep into it enough to know how that affected the story at all. I don't think it was one of those games that it really would have affected it much. I don't think they would have even maybe talked about it, because I remember when one of the characters did die, you go back and see your other friends, they don't really even mention the person.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they don't... Yeah, the person's gone, they don't care.
God. I miss old game design, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, definitely pick up... Oh, God, there's probably no way of picking up this game. The way we picked it up was Game Traders, pre-owned.
Yeah.
So even we were struggling to track it down, 13 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe watch a Let's Play of this because it's pretty worth it.
Yeah, definitely. If you haven't played this, watch your Let's Play. I'm sure there'd be heaps on YouTube. So
yeah, it's probably got a really good cult following behind it.
Yeah,
just it seems like one of those games.
And you should watch the movie as well, The Faculty.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's very similar to the game.
Okay.
I can't remember which one was based off one another.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the game was based off the movie.
Yeah, there's very few movies based off games.
Yeah, true. So, yeah.
Cool.
That brings us to the end of episode 6. So, you can find us on YouTube. Type in the Podcast Collective. That's our channel name. You can also type in the 411 folks. We'll come straight up because we're the only podcast with that name. On the Podcast Collective channel, you can also find Jake's podcast, which is The Grind. And, of course, you can find us on iTunes. So, we'll see you next week. You're not going to be here next week, though, so...
I guess depending on when we record.
When do you leave?
I leave on Thursday. So,
Right. Where are you going?
just Byron Bay, but we'll discuss that later. So may or may not be an episode next week. We don't know.
All right. Well, we'll see you when we see you.
See ya.